morning.
Howdy.
Let's see. We've been wanting to do this video for a while, but a perfect storm has to happen in order for this to work out just right. And thanks to my dental issues, we've now had the perfect storm.
She meant to say mental issues.
What we're going to talk about this week is
how much money we make.
Yeah.
Or don't make, however you want to look at it.
Right. A lot of people want to know if there's money to be made in the trucking industry, and we cannot speak for owner-operators. The only thing we can speak to is company drivers, because that's what we do.
Specifically, obviously, the company we work for.
Right. A little bit of research tells me that on average it will cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $8,000 to go to a trade school and get your CDL that way. If you are prior military and haven't used all of your GI Bill, that can actually be applied towards your CDL school. Yep, that's what we did. As far as like schooling or student debt, or however you want to classify that, it's a relatively minimal investment for something that could potentially net you quite a bit of money. The company that we work for, Schuster, we're right there. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, they're about middle of the road industry-wide for pay. So
I would say they're middle of the road. I think they're a little bit on the higher end of the middle of the road.
Okay.
Anyway.
And all of these numbers are current for 2022. So this week, just this morning, we picked up our load in Lamar's, and we're headed out to Henderson, Nevada, and we have a return load coming right back to Lamar's, which is going to put us at about an average amount of miles for 1 week.
2,800 miles.
Right. And that's average for us. There are drivers out there that get more miles per week. There's a lot of drivers out there that get less miles per week. So in case you haven't picked up on it, a lot of this is just kind of, it's situational. Our pay periods with this particular company run from Tuesday to Tuesday. So it is Wednesday morning. We have no miles turned in for this paycheck yet. We are starting fresh.
We know how many miles it is. We can tell you exactly what our paycheck's going to be.
Right.
But we're going to try to break that down into an hourly wage for the amount of time it takes me to actually drive that 2,800 miles. So this is just driving time, fueling time, and my mandatory 30-minute break. That's all that we're counting in this.
Work time.
Yeah, our work time.
So buckle up. We are headed through Nebraska today, and 70-mile-an-hour crosswinds.
Not yet, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's our forecast for today.
So we're going to try to make it at least out to Sydney, Nebraska today. Got a friend of ours that's sitting out there waiting on us. So hopefully we'll get there with no issues.
So yeah, let's see how this breaks down.
What's going on, everybody? We are done for the day. We left Lamar's, Iowa this morning, and we are now in Sydney, Nebraska. It is a grand total of just over 500 miles, and we'll figure out how long it took us to get here. That right there is where we started the day off, coming off duty, going on duty. Then this segment right here is all of my drive time. This top row is when I was off duty, or that spot right there is my 30-minute break. If you come over here, that right there, the 8:15, that's my actual drive time when I was actually physically driving the truck. From the time that we started to the time that we actually got here was probably close to 9.5 hours. But counting our breaks and everything, and what we actually got paid for by the hour was 8 hours and 45 minutes of actual drive time plus my mandatory 30-minute break. That's our first day into this trip. 8 hours 45 minutes, 500 miles. Tomorrow, all this wind and stuff is supposed to be done by then, so we will probably pull out of here somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 a.m. and we'll knock out at least another minimum of 500 miles, probably pushed about 600 miles. As long as we can get within about 200 to 300 miles, that's only a 4 to 5 hour drive, so that still gets us up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's the plan for tomorrow.
Okay, so yesterday, 70-mile-an-hour side winds, good times. We managed to make it to Love's in Sydney. Of course, you know that because he talked last night. Yeah. Ooh. Right now, we are in Wyoming, in the Rock River, Wyoming area, and every info sign that we have passed this morning says 40-plus-mile-an-hour winds. Ooh, this is what happens when there's 70-mile-an-hour crosswinds the day before. Yeah, that is the second such thing we've passed today. Yeah, wind gusts 40-plus miles an hour. Slick spots, blowing snow. Turn off cruise control. That's the sign we just passed. It's a beautiful day in Wyoming. We're supposed to be in Henderson, Nevada tomorrow morning by 9 a.m. But I gotta tell you, if this crap keeps up, I'm not sure. Right now, this is what we're looking at.
Everybody, we are done for the day. I'm going to give you a quick summary of what we did today, because then it's bedtime, because we got to get up early. Okay, if you zoom in over here, this is what we did today. That's our drive line. We drove for a total of 9 hours and 14 minutes today. We only took 2 breaks today, and both of them were just right at 30 minutes. I got paid for 9 hours and 45 minutes today, basically. Right now, we are just south of Salt Lake City. We are in, where are we at? We are in Spring Hill, Utah. So we've got about a 6.5, 7 hour drive first thing in the morning. So we're getting up early because we got to be in Henderson, Nevada at 9 a.m. So if you do the math, that's early. So we will catch up with you tomorrow.
Doing a video this morning. We're just going to do one for the whole entire day. We got up, well, he got up at, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, something like that.
1 o'clock in the morning local time to drive us into Henderson. But then, of course, we crossed into Nevada and realized they're on Pacific time and we could have slept a little later. Today is a little bit different, too, in that we delivered one load and then picked up the other load, and so that kind of, it's not as straightforward. We didn't just work for 9.5 hours today. So what did we do, my dear?
You wiener dog. We actually drove today for 8 hours and 41 minutes. Got a 30-minute break right there. Then this right here was where we were. That's where we got unloaded. That's where we got loaded. And we drove from Henderson, Nevada to where we are now, which is Kingman, Arizona. Total drive time, 8 hours, 41 minutes. For a total mileage of 496. total work time was just shy of 9 hours. So in the drive line, I like to stay between 8 hours and 8 hours and 45 minutes. That way it doesn't mess with my 70-hour clock a whole lot. Right now, like I said, we're in Kingman, Arizona. So we've got 3 full days to get back. So it's an average of 500 miles a day, pretty much from where we're set. So see you in the morning.
Appropriate interjection. What exactly is that? Not really sure. Oh well. Good morning. We are in New Mexico. We stayed in Albuquerque last night. Kind of forgot to do our update video last night before we went to bed. We kind of called it early in Albuquerque. We only drove 470 miles yesterday. But we may have called it early, but it ended up actually being kind of a long day. There was a lot of cleaning and laundry that needed to be done, and the pilot that we stayed at was kind of busy. So it took us a while. But somebody got me tacos from the food truck across the parking lot.
And I called her pretty.
He even called me pretty.
Yes, she is.
Thanks. But that hot sauce, whoo, mama. No. I remember now why I eat mild salsa. Anyway, like I said, we drove 470 miles yesterday and worked a total of 7 hours and 45 minutes, so that's all right. Today looks like we're gonna get back up into the land of Oz. And
Back in the home state.
Call it a night up there somewhere. So there ought to be some interesting sights to see, so stick around.
Done for the day again. Had another semi-short, long day. We drove for just shy of 8 hours for a total of 490 miles. We are in Dodge City, Kansas. So we went from, where we stay at? Just outside of Albuquerque, all the way to Dodge City, Kansas today. Tomorrow morning we'll get up bright and early and head to Lamars, Iowa to finish it off. It should be, GPS says about 500, just over 500 miles, so it'll be about another 8-hour day. See you then.
we're done with that trip, let's get into the numbers. You remember at the beginning of the video, we told you that this was going to be a pretty average week for us, so there's no surprises here for us, but there might be for you. So day 1, we drove 503 miles in 8 hours and 45 minutes. Day 2, we drove 593 miles in 9 hours and 44 minutes. Day 3 was 496 miles in 9 hours and 11 minutes. 4 was 496 miles in 8 hours and 16 minutes. Day 5 was 489 miles in 8 hours and 26 minutes. And day 6, we drove for 530 miles in 9 hours and 4 minutes. That brings our totals to 2,852 miles in 53 hours and 26 minutes. So now let's do the math. 2,852 miles times 59 cents per mile is a $1,682 paycheck. You divide that over the 53 and a half hours that we drove, we are bringing in $31.45 per hour. That's the gross rate, not with taxes taken out. But how do you get paid? So let us know your opinion in the comments below. Do you think there's money in trucking? In the meantime, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.